Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Filmy Recap. Today, I'm going to explain Nomadland movie. 2011, the city of Empire, Nevada closes down its U.S. gypsum plant after 88 due to low demand in sheetrock. The location code for the city would be discontinued months later, rendering the location a ghost town. A currently widowed lady named Fern sells off some of her assets and continues the relaxation in storage as she units off in her van to locate work. Fern begins working a seasonal job at an Amazon warehouse. She leaves her van parked in an RV park. Fern befriends her co-workers at the warehouse, such as Linda May. She spends time with Fern, who tells her about her modern-day situation. At the store, Fern is viewed by way of an historic buddy and her two daughters. One of the females stays to speak to Fern and asks if she is homeless. Fern says that she isn't, and she is simply houseless. Fern joins Linda in her RV and learns that when Linda had to resign to the van life, she pondered suicide till she determined in opposition to it for her sake and her dog's. She had subsequent to nothing in her financial savings after working almost all her life. Linda then tells Fern about the rubber trap rendezvous in Quartzsite, Arizona, a gathering of different nomads/vanlifers run by using Bob Wells. Fern watches a video from Bob, however declines the invitation. After ending at Amazon, Fern has a difficult time discovering work. With the climate getting colder, she decides to power to Arizona and comes throughout the RTR. She meets Bob and different nomads, who share their memories about what added them to their cutting-edge positions and how they control to survive. Fern additionally befriends a man named Dave and later joins him in dancing when the team throws a party. She ends up discovering a job at a Save Close by promoting the mined quartzes. Fern's van blows a tire. She asks a fellow nomad, Swanky, for help, and though Swanky scolds Fern for no longer being organized for something like this in any condition, she helps Fern collect a spare. The two sit down together, and Swanky tells Fern about her most cancer's prognosis and how she isn't predicted to stay an awful lot longer, however she plans to spend the rest of her days making recollections on the avenue as an alternative of demise in a hospital. In turn, Fern tells Swanky about what it was once like looking at her husband as he used to be dying. Fern takes some time to tour and spend time in nature. She returns to work at a camp as a tour information with Linda and encounters Dave again. They spend time collectively with different co-workers/nomads. After Fern and Linda part ways, Fern is cleaning out her RV, but when Dave offers to help, he accidentally drops some of her plates at shatter. She snaps at him briefly but later apologizes for it after she visits him in the hospital when he gets sick. Fern and Dave begin working in the meals area of Wall Drug. Dave's grown-up son James stops via to go to him and inform him that his spouse is going to have an infant soon. Dave is hesitant to go to James's household and meet his grandchild. However, at Fern's suggestion, he decides to go. He invitations her to be a part of, however she declines. Fern starts off evolved working at a beet harvest and continues to be extra alone. The van breaks down, and she finds herself unable to find the money for the repairs. Fern calls her sister Dolly to ask for assist with money, however they have an argument over it. Nevertheless, Dolly invitations Fern to her house, the place she meets Dolly's husband and some friends. When one of the guys makes a remark suggesting that the nomads selected their lifestyle, Fern receives protecting in response. She later talks to Dolly, who lets her borrow the money. About how Fern persevered to remain in Empire after her husband died or why she barely visited her family, however Dolly commends Fern for her independence. In her persisted travels, Fern encounters a younger man she met at the RTR earlier, and she sits to be part of him after giving him her sandwich. They chat for a whilst earlier, then she hits the avenue again. Fern makes it to David's family's domestic and meets them. After some talking, Dave admits he has some emotions for Fern and invitations her to continue to be in the visitor residence. Due to the fact he is going to be staying with the household longer than expected, however Fern chooses to hold going off on her own, figuring out to see the ocean. Fern returns to Amazon and stays at the RTR again, where she learns that Swanky has exceeded away. The different nomads accumulate round a furnace in her memory. Fern later talks to Bob about her husband's death. And he mentions how his son dedicated suicide. He and the different nomads experience that loss of life isn't the quit of a relationship, so alternatively of goodbye, they like to say, see you down the road. Fern takes one final day out again to Empire to promote off the relaxation of her assets earlier than paying a go to her ancient domestic and the factory, all of which is totally empty. With that, she resumes her travels.